You've seen all the videos on Instagram of people going like this and going like that and doing this and doing that. Hey, what is up everyone? It's TJ here, and today we're going to talk about the cuts that every videographer, filmmaker, video editor should know. Basically, if you're into making video, you need to know these cuts so you can better understand what you're trying to do. Before we get started, I want to tell you about thecamerahacks.com. We have a ton of different resources for you on there, so go check that out. Anything from presets to video courses to even a little bit of merch. If you haven't checked that out, link is in the description box below. So let's first talk about the hard cut. The hard cut is just going from one shot to the next. There's a timing aspect to it, but there's no real meaning behind the cut itself. I feel like you see this type of cut in most professional work. There's not a lot of transitions all the time. You may see this during character dialogue, cutting between one face to the next or one actor to the next actor. The reason why I like the standard cut is because it hides the fact that you don't really know what you're doing. If you do a standard cut, you eliminated the fact that, you may put a bad transition in, or you don't really know a lot about transitions or how to transition to the next shot. Doing a standard cut makes everything clean and it's basically just not hard to mess up. The next type of cut is the jump cut, and I do it all the time. I've done it throughout this video. You've seen it since we started it. It's simply just cutting the space, cutting out the fluff between shots. Typically a long take, like right now I'm filming this in one long take. I'm not actually turning off the camera and starting over again, just one long take. But then in the editing room, what I do is I go back and I cut out all the fluff. Every time I say I try to get that out. And every time I take a pause and don't really know what I'm saying, I try to cut that out. Gets kind of awkward up here sometimes. It's also a way to relate time or to eliminate time or show time passing. If I do one long shot and I cut to different parts of that shot, it seems like time has skipped a little bit. Depending on the medium or the type of film that you're making, like this, it needs to be energetic and it needs to have no real fluff, because you won't watch anymore if it does. So use these type of cuts to help tell your story, to help reach the audience in a specific way. This can be comedic or it can be dramatic. It just really depends on the situation and how you use it. All right, now to the J cut and the L cut. I'm putting these together because they're essentially the same thing, just the opposite. Basically, you're dragging the audio from one scene to the next. Let's say you have someone talking in one scene and you want to carry that over into the next scene. Let's say your character wants to go into a flashback, dialogue flashback. Well, they're talking about that thing, and then as the editor, you go ahead and clip to the thing that they're talking about. This adds a seamless flow for the audience to understand that this is the thing that he's talking about. You can see this from pretty much any sound, and a lot of times it can be atmosphere. Sometimes I want to take you to the place that I'm going to before I take you there visually. I want to set the mood for that place before I take you there visually. You can have birds chirping or the atmosphere of the next scene come in before you actually go there. And this adds a seamless transition. It kind of takes the audience into the scene before they actually see what you want to show them. Most people don't really understand what's going on when it's happening. They just know that they like it. Different resources for you on there, so go check that out. Because there's a lot of traffic coming through here. But we're going to leave enough space on the other side of them so they can. The cool thing about these techniques for me is I used to do all these cuts, and I still do all these cuts, but I didn't know the name of them. I didn't know what they were called. I was just doing what I heard or what I saw. But knowing what they are and knowing what they do, you can make better decisions as to when and why to use them. So keep that in mind. Next, motivated cutting, or the motivated cut, as I like to call it. Motivated cutting is basically cutting on an action. If something happens, if I, let's say I throw a punch, at the point of that punch, I cut. This is a way for you to actually time your cutting better. Let's say something in your scene just happens. Something happens, maybe a door slams. I'd like to do that a lot. A door slams, and that is my reason or my motivation for cutting to the next scene. I like to use sound and action in a shot to take you to the next shot. For instance, if I was to do this and I drop it, I probably shouldn't do that. If I was to take this and drop it, and then I cut on that That is a motivated cut. Cutaways are a very simple tool to use. They help the viewers get a better understanding of the surrounding or a specific thing that is very important to a scene. Now, if I'm talking to you about camera gear, like for example, I love the 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8. Cutting to that would be a cutaway, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about and give you a little bit more information. Films do this all the time. Maybe an actor looks a certain way. A lot of times they cut away to the thing that they're looking at. And that allows you as the viewer to understand, hey, he's looking at that. That's a cutaway. And now we go into the cross cut. Now, the cross cut is basically two different things happening at two different places, or even two different times. Cross cutting tends to add anxiety into a shot. It adds the tenseness or drama into a shot. Sometimes this could be two storylines going forward at the same time. Sometimes this can mean someone on the phone at their home and another person on the phone at their home. Those are cross-cut. Now we go into montage cutting. And montage cutting is basically, we take you through a time period of things. Sometimes this means time lapses. Sometimes this means showing the city and everything that it has to offer. You would see a lot of films actually start off like this, showing people just in the world that they're trying to bring you into. Maybe some food, maybe the traffic, maybe these, fast, busy shots, time lapses. Maybe we even show the character getting older or doing things day by day, showing them as time passes by. And that's what a montage is for, to relay the message of time passing. All a montage is a series of rapid cuts, basically the B-roll. And now let's talk about the infamous match cut. This is also motivated in a sense, but a lot of times it's motivated from the motion of the camera, or it's motivated from a motion in a scene. For instance, if you were to push the camera forward and then cut to another shot where the camera is pushing forward, then that would be a match cut. You're matching the direction of something in the shot. And a lot of times it comes from the camera motion. You've seen all the videos on Instagram of people going like this and going like that and doing this and doing that. All you're doing is getting a whole bunch of match cuts and putting them together. Match cuts tend to need a lot of direction. They tend to need a lot of thought before the shot. Match cutting can be cool because it allows for a smoother transition and allows for you to not kind of abruptly change from scene or shot to shot. It doesn't distract the viewer from what's going on. It just kind of adds to a seamless cut or flow of the film. I feel like it's very cool creatively, but also creatively it can be handicapping to know that you have to move in a certain direction for the next shot. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. Like this video if you liked it. Also, make sure you check out the website. It's in the link in the link is in the description. The link is in the description box below. Also, you can check out the new course where I dive through editing in iMovie. And if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.